Like to call this meeting to order. I have a motion on the floor. We First Nations land acknowledgement and moment of reflection, silent moment of reflection.
Anyone have any good jokes?
What's that?
Well, Merry Christmas, KHR. Here we go. This is our opportunity from your wonderful council, KHR staff. Beautiful audience people. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so moved by Maureen McMillan, second by Bill Smith, that council for the township of Killaloe, Hagerty, and Richards agrees to include from this day forward the First Nations land acknowledgement and the moment of reflection, silent, to the agenda for the regular meeting of council, and at which time will be recorded as such in the township of Killaloe, Hagerty, and Richards procedural bylaw at the time it is updated.
Discussion? All those in favor? The Township of Killaloe, Hagerty, and Richards respectfully acknowledges that this meeting is taking place on the unceded, unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin Nation, whose presence and stewardship of the Kitchissippi and its tributaries dates back to time immemorial and will continue in perpetuity. We honor the long history of welcoming many nations to this territory, and we acknowledge our shared responsibilities to ensure health and well-being for all creation for generations to come. I ask for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. It's been just 2 weeks since the inauguration, and it's been a busy time. I was happy to attend the very successful Killaloe Library Open House. It was great fun to participate in the Killaloe Lions Club Santa Claus Parade. I visited the Engine House Cafe for their opening. Congratulations to Brooke and Melissa Trembeck on phase 2. I can hardly wait to see what phase 3 will bring us. On December 12th, I was sworn in as a counselor at County Council and then attended 2 orientation sessions, one given by Tony Fleming, being our Integrity Commissioner. The committee work has begun. Both Human Resources and Public Works, Public Service, and Property Committees have had their first meetings. The wheels are in motion. At this time, I would like to extend my sincerest best wishes for a Merry Christmas and a wonderful holiday season. We are truly blessed to call KHR home. Now is the time to recognize the importance of family, friends, neighbors, and community, as well as acknowledge and enjoy our beautiful natural environment. I hope that each of us will be able to enjoy these blessings in ways big and small over the Christmas break. I would like to further recognize the dedicated residents who volunteer their time, talent, and treasure toward helping others. These random acts of kindness enrich each of us. Our township is a better place because of these genuine and generous contributions. Christmas and the holidays are a time for families, friends, and loved ones to come together, reflect on cherished moments, make new memories, and look forward toward the promise of hope and opportunity in the new year. If you have children around you this holiday season and have the ability to play, dance, laugh, sing, then you will be fortunate indeed. Of course, if we are fortunate enough to receive, I hope we will also be inspired to reach out to others. Please be kind to one another, especially those who may not have family and friends around, or who just need that little extra support. In the spirit of Christmas, I hope each of us will have an opportunity to stop, to rest, to reflect, and to pay attention to what is most important in life. I hope we will all find opportunities to feel gratitude, even for the smallest of blessings, and I hope we will feel joy. On behalf of my family, township staff, and my councillor colleagues, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy and safe New Year. Does any member of council have pecuniary or financial interest to declare? So duly noted. Ted will declare at the appropriate time. Gary mentioned that he doesn't have to leave the room. You don't have to leave the room because it's an open meeting. So just so it's clear. Motion to approve the minutes of the inaugural meeting and regular meeting held on December 6, 2022, open and closed sessions.
Moved by Brian Kosky, second by Bill Smith. Motion to approve the minutes of the inaugural meeting held on December 6, 2022, open session, and the regular meeting held on December 6, 2022, opened and closed sessions.
All those in favor? Motion to approve the committee meetings.
Moved by Ted Brown, second by Carl Keel. Motion to approve the minutes of the personnel meeting held on November 16th, 2022, open and closed sessions. The Water and Sewage Committee meeting held on January 9th, 2019, open session. The Road Committee meeting held on January 6th, 2021, open session. And the Waste Management Committee meeting held on September 8th, 2021, open session.
All those in favor?
Pardon?
Just the outcome.
Yeah.
So, Kate, Dale, come forward. Ready to report.
So for the demolition of 156 to 160 Queen Street, we had 6 RFP submitted. Just in random order as we opened them, Valley Cottage Racing came in at 126,000. Perfect Level Construction came in at 220,000. Demolition Plus came in at 174,888. Zircon came in at 240,000. IQ Environmental came in at 256,410. And Shooting Environmental or Shooting Excavating came in at 118,340. I did a bit of a matrix on scoring them, and Shooting as the lowest also came in with the best overall proposal, price, timeline. They are actually currently working in Petawawa at a job, and they will basically move right from there to here, and they would be willing to start at the beginning of the year if we proceed with that. They are going to an improved waste disposal. I don't believe it's anywhere around here. They're hauling it. They haul everything quite a distance. Full understanding, proposal layout, everything scored really well. There was a couple that I did not receive bonds for. And one company that didn't have approved WSIB. So, but the shooting came in with, like I say, 118,000, which was very impressive.
Where are they from?
They are actually, make sure it's in the wrong spot. They are from Waterford, Ontario, so down south.
From Hamilton.
Yeah. And they're well experienced in demolition. They are actually the company that tore down, make sure I got the right school, Sherwood in Barry's Bay.
Old school.
Yeah, they tore that down. They're tearing down a big place up in Petawawa. I'm not sure if it's on base or not, but that's where they're currently working. So my recommendation is to go with them for the demolition. But all I got for that, it's pretty cut and dry. They were definitely a surprise. I was not expecting them to be that low.
Great job. Great job.
We paid 153 for the level one.
Right, it was a little bit more than that,
Was it?
actually, I believe. I don't remember the exact number for the one in the corner, but it was quite a bit, substantially quite a bit more.
That's a great price as far as I'm concerned.
Any further discussion?
Start the new year off right. Nice clean slate.
Moved by Bill Smith, second by Maureen McMillan, motion to accept RFP 2022-03 for the demolition of 156, 158, and 160 Queen Street from Schouten Environmental Incorporation of Waterford, Ontario, in the amount of $118,340 plus taxes.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
All the way up.
Nice.
Good. Thanks very much. Great job.
Thank you.
Council has had time to review road general voucher number 11-2022. Any discussion?
No. Did you want to do that, or did you want Dean to do his report first? Yeah, Dean and then myself is got the report.
Whatever it is.
Do you want to go ahead?
That's fine. I jumped the gun. We saved so much money on the last one. I want to spend money on this crazy bill.
As you can tell, our winter maintenance has begun on our roads. We've been sanding and salting, etc. One of our plow trucks is in the shop for repairs. I do believe it's just a thermostat, so it shouldn't take too long to repair. We're also doing just minor maintenance on in our shop, some welding on some of the blades, greasing equipment, just general maintenance on equipment and stuff. The culvert on Mill Street, we tried there yesterday, I guess, or today, insulating it next to Creekside. Every year we usually have to steam it several times a year. So we decided to see if we could put some insulation in it, leave cut it in the bottom, because it seems like when it comes off of the covered bridge, it has when it does this moisture and stuff, and it seems like it freezes in like 8 to 10 feet kind of thing. So we're trying to eliminate that, so we don't have to go out as often to actually steam it. So we're trying to, we're going to trial and error. So we're going to try and see if that'll help it this year, so we won't have to steam it so much. Our waste management report, we completed hauling our C&D from the Mask Road landfill site to Red Rock. The only thing we have to do is bring some fill into the Mask Road site just to kind of tidy it up a bit and make sure that it's all level, that stuff. Today, Greenview is actually at the Red Rock site to complete the survey for the waste capacity there. So whenever I hear that report, I'll get back to council on that. So in the new year, I'd like to actually meet with Harold and and discuss some of the landfill sites, the issues there. There's not a whole lot of issues, but like for our steel, because I know right now we're only getting, I think it's $100 a ton for steel, and the price now is 200. So I'd like Harold and I to meet to maybe jump that up a bit, because, you know, obviously if steel's prices is $200 a ton and we're getting 100, that to me doesn't make sense. So I'd like to meet with Harold and then we can discuss options and bring that back to council as well. Other than that, that's it for my report.
Have any questions? You guys did a great job on the weekend. I had no calls,
Nice,
which is awesome.
good.
That means it's a great job.
Louder, they don't have your number. You activate your voicemail?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, wow.
All right, I got a little bit of stuff for you. Your newbies, I'll give you one of my cards. You know how to go. Okay, if you flip to page 2, it starts off giving a summary of fire. Normally, what I do is I go back to your last meeting, tell you the changes and what's happened since the last meeting, but because this is your first meeting, I took it back to December the 6th with your inauguration. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna hand out is another item for you. Now, what this one is, this is the essentials of municipal fire protection. This is the course that they gave in 2019. Of course, things have changed. OFMEM, as you probably know, is the Office of the Fire Marshal and Emergency Management. Sometimes they're working together under one boss, sometimes they're split up and meet at the deputy level, and then they split apart and join together. Well, earlier this year, they split apart. This time, I think it might be for good, because the OFM is under the Solicitor General and Emergency Management moved over to Treasury Board Secretariat. So we might see some changes coming there. This course is recommended for anyone that's dealing with fire. Now, 2 on the committee have been firefighters, but this is a half-day course. If you check page 2 and 3, you can see the dates of the courses up to March. You can either do it in person, then they'll send out information where, or you can do it online, Zooming, or as a web page. Training. Okay, so that's something to consider. Seeing as I've handed you only the paper one, and I don't have all your email addresses and that functioning yet. If you want it right away, send me an email, just say, send it to me, and I'll send it to you, because the link is about this long, if you had to type it in. So that's item 1. Operations, this is what we're normally doing. Fire inspection at the Engine House Cafe was done on the 7th for their December the 8th opening. On the 7th as well, we had our SCBA annual maintenance and certification done. Everything is fine, except we had one harness where we had a rivet pulled through, and that's going to be fixed under warranty. December the 8th, we did the year-end losses report on house values for losses of fire this year in Killaloe, Haggerty, Richard. There is only one case. We've estimated at $99,000 based on our grid. December the 18th, I was just, what are we, the 20th, 2 days ago? We got called in for a motor vehicle, well, collision, actually, a motor vehicle accident in this case. I mentioned it's in Richland Valley, but when we were called in, we weren't told that. So we thought it was somewhere near Jack's Lake, but it was actually up farther, up the highway. Ongoing activities, and this we do all the time, weekly truck checks, monthly equipment checks, and the donning and doffing of SCBA's. Recent events, December the 7th, we had the quarterly chiefs meeting. Now, for a while, we've been running on 2 meetings a year, but 2 didn't seem to be enough. And what's coming along now with things like the mandatory firefighter certification, they're going back to 4 a year, and any more that we require as far as the chiefs organization. December the 10th, we supported David Afelsky's funeral. And the same day, we did the Lions Club Santa Claus Parade. Upcoming events, we're just starting to switch into the new year. We've got the bi-monthly meeting on January 10th, and in the interim, we're putting the training schedule together. Fire prevention, we have monthly newspaper ads. We usually do 11 half pages and 1 page a year. The cost is supported by 12 fire departments. Training undertaken since you guys were brought in is December the 6th. We had the emergency response guide, the ERG. I don't know if you know it. It's a little orange book that comes from Canutech, Transport Canada, and it's got just about every known chemical to humankind in it. And it tells you how to put out fires surrounding this particular substance, because there's a lot of substances and whatnot, or temperature ranges where you can't use water. So the training undertaken on the 13th was the vehicle fire. And as I mentioned, the 2023 schedule is being put together now. Issues, and this will be for the committee. So what we have issues with dry hydrants. You guys know what a dry hydrant is? Everybody's good with that?
Sounds self-explanatory. Is it as self-explanatory as it sounds?
There's no water in it.
Yeah, no water. Yeah, it's self-explanatory.
It's like a big straw going into a puddle and we suck water out of it. But we've had some problems, especially on the Round Lake area where the lake water's been dropped. It's been agreed to do that and whatnot, except we don't have enough water over some of our intake pipes. So that's going to give us some issues. In fact, it might give us issues in the winter time, because that's even worse, because we've even got the one down here on, what's that one, on Henry Street, okay, that we did fix up. It's working fine now, but I think it's going to freeze in. So we also have a big problem with radio communications, and Dale can update you down the line of what the status is and all that lovely stuff. Staffing, we've got 3 or 4 issues with it. Firefighter mandatory certification program. It's a complicated program to get everyone up to the standards of a professional firefighter. And if you were to do it the general way, it would be about $8,000 to $10,000 a firefighter. Trying to slip in by the cracks and whatnot behind. There's different ways of doing it, but a lot of it has changed since the old $65 a week courses that we used to take at the Gravenhurst Fire College. Now you have to take it at a regional fire college. Well, the college itself, the main college, gets the $65, but then you can pay $400, let's say, for a course that they're taking for 3 or 4 days. Plus you now have to cover all expenses, where before your meals and accommodations were all in that $65. And then they try and tell us it's not going to cost us more, but I got some issues with that. One thing we have to consider here too is our limited population on which to draw. We get a lot of people, they finish high school, then leave. So who are we being able to draft? We also have issues that if they are working here, then that's great, and that's good for the local population, but 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, we have a real shortage of firefighters able to respond. So these are some of the issues we want to look at. Low compensation as well for all the time and whatnot they put in here. They make maybe $3,000 a year, 4 maybe, that's it. Let's see, and I know you guys just had an HR committee. We have two recruits that have said they want to be interviewed for volunteer probationary firefighters. So once we get the process set up, we can make arrangements and do whatever has to be done. I'm going to flip to the other side of the house. You guys are all aware of what CEMC is? Sure, okay, it's a community, emergency management coordinator. Not, in this case, it's me. Every year we are mandated by, I think it's even higher than regulation, but anyway, to do compliance, meet compliance requirements that the OFM sends to us. There's generally 14 things to assess on. And for some, it was pretty easy, others, not so much. For 2022, I sent my report, the initial run in September. We've had a couple of comments and updated a couple of sections in it. But what we get in that is they want to look at the 14 items that are the municipal municipal profile. Okay, so that's just saying that we're the township and where we're located and phone numbers and all this stuff. Second one is CEMC and alternate CEMC contacts. So that's how to get a hold of myself or Dale, who's the alternate. And then they check the CEMC and alternate against training records to see if we meet the mandatory 4 courses. Then there's the emergency information officer, EIO, or we call them public information officers, PIO. And same thing, it's just 4 contact information. So those are pretty easy to do. Then we get into the emergency management program committee membership. Well, you've just identified that with your pink slip here that Ted's heading up. So that's the protection emergency management group. But now we start ending up with a bit of an issue. We have another group to maintain and establish. The program people do the program stuff. We write the policy and all that lovely stuff. Then there's the emergency operations control group. That's that body of people that sit around the table and make decisions during some type of event, okay? And who's been defined at this particular point, it still can be redefined by council. But at the moment, in case something happens next week, you never know. We've got the mayor, the CEMC, the chief admin officer, clerk treasurer, fire chief, work superintendent, public information officer, and the scribe duty officer. So they have to be ready to go when there's an emergency called. Now, there may have to be training for some people to know under what's going on, and this is one of the other items that we have in here, which is lovely. Under the municipal emergency control group, you've got to look at the composition, the training, and every year we do an exercise. Some exercises we've had is an hour, some are 2-3 hours, depending on what we want to address, and see how it comes out and make recommendations on improvements as it's defined. Now, anyone else can be added to that basic list of your emergency operations control group. So if you need a medical officer, you could invite one in, or a police officer, or whoever. So it's just a matter, we have to look at getting that pretty well set up soon. What else do we have? Then we have the Emergency Operations Center. This is the Emergency Operations Center. If it's available, it's here. Everything's hooked up. We've got support from across the hall. And we have excess space downstairs if we need to set up working groups or have volunteers coordinated or something like that. If this building is not available, then we have the location at the Round Lake Fire Hall. Same type of thing. We're all set up there to go. So that's what we have there. The big item for us is public education. Now we do the schools and Millstream apartments every year. Excuse me. We also do the school activity days. They have fun days and whatever as well there. We're doing the fire prevention materials in the paper, etc. Then we have to look at the emergency management annual review. This is done by committee that Ted's running. And we check off that we've reviewed the emergency response plan, that we've looked at the pandemic plan, that we've done the continuity of operations plan, etc. and the training is done, et cetera, so that we can prepare the report and send it in. So then we look at the program bylaws and see whether something's been changed or not, and then we do a statement of completion. So that's a quick and dirty on the other side of the shop. Questions? Thank you.
What time and where's your meeting, your next meeting for the fire department?
I don't know where it's meeting on a head-to-head, but otherwise it's online.
No, your fire department bi-monthly meeting.
Oh, this one's gonna be January 10th,
But what time and where?
7 at the Killu Hall.
7, because I'll let you know, but the new committee might come just so everybody knows. who it is.
Sure. And we do it bi-monthly now, because we were having it monthly before, but we didn't seem to get as much gain out of the second meeting, one after the other. Some things were still carrying on. And it cost me about $600 to $700 to run a meeting. So what we've ended up gaining by having it every second month, is every second month we gain another training night. So,
Sorry, Bob, what is that date?
10th.
10th.
There's a human resort. Oh, I'm not on that committee. I don't know what I'm on. Okay, let's go down.
That's a very good report, Bob. I think a lot of this will be dealt with, slide it over to Ted's group. And form that plan to the point of, we gotta reach the completion of all this. We need a detailed plan.
We'll probably call a meeting in February. So we can go over.
Is there a completion timetable that they've set forth? Like, have they said anything to you, like when this has to be done?
Yes, December 31st.
Oh, it's
And
ready.
then lock us out of the computer program.
So it's a full year, this has to be complete.
Yes, now historically, they weren't opening the computer program up until about November. You guys like myself, I did this stuff 3-4 months ago, and now I gotta kind of review some of it again to be able to do the inputting. Now they open it, this year, I think it was March or April, to be able to work on a section, put it in and be done with it. So, but at December 31st, they do a quick review and say, we're recommending compliance, or maybe you should enhance this particular element a bit. And then eventually, there's a letter sent to the township saying, yay, you're compliant.
Thank you. We've done all that, yeah. You're next.
So I have a couple of things to discuss in closed, but as far as open goes, I just wanted to update council that Councillor Levine has been registered for the Oprah conference, and both councillors McMillan and Smith, along with Community Development Coordinator Chris Knapp, they have all been registered for the Economic Developers Council of Ontario conference. So just a reminder, the Oprah conference is April 16th to the 19th, and the Economic Development conference is February 7th to the 9th. I have a resolution prepared for signing authorities, and in order to change our signing authority for our checks, CIBC has asked that we note them in the minutes, and as per resolution, so I have a resolution to put on the check. So I have moved by Ted Brown, second by Harold Levine, that the mayor and CAO clerk treasurer be and hereby appointed as signing authorities for the township of Killu, Hagerty, and Richards. And that in the absence of the mayor, Councillor Carl Keel will be and hereby appointed as signing authority, and as such is authorized to sign checks in conjunction with the mayor for the township of Killu, Hagerty, and Richards. And further, that in the absence of the CAO clerk treasurer, the deputy CAO clerk treasurer shall be and hereby appointed as signing authority, and as such is authorized to sign checks in conjunction with the CAO clerk treasurer for the township of Killu, Hagerty, and Richards. Discussion?
Oh, do I say discussion?
All in favor?
All in favor? Carry.
And the only other thing I have is our township solicitor offers training for new council members as well as yearly updates. So he's asking that, I asked him if he could come, so he's suggesting late January or early February to arrange a date. So I didn't know if we wanted to do that tonight or if we wanted to do it at a different meeting.
Never schedule. Good days.
He didn't have it, he just said late January, early February.
Monday.
He said normally he did it during the day. He would come. And it would only be like 2.5 hours. I can ask him if he can come in the evening. And if we call a special meeting and have it in the evening.
I think the first preference would be evening because of the amount of people that work. And then see what he says.
So have it, I email him and ask him for the evening, and then I can ask him about alternate dates. And then we can all pick from there. Sound good?
Maybe like the last, that last, between the 23rd and the 27th, because we have the conference next. It's gonna be in January, so.
Okay, I'll do that.
Monday is usually good. Monday is usually good.
I have CRC board meeting about once every 5 or 6 weeks. Can let me know what those dates are.
Okay, Monday sounds good.
Okay.
Doesn't affect any of my committee meetings either.
30th, I have a board meeting, January 30th.
Okay.
Okay, now we're ready to do paper.
Yeah.
Council's had time to review the general voucher number 11-2022.
So I have a motion. So I have 5-step round to declare pecuniary financial interest with road and general voucher 11-2022. Oh, you're saying so
Yeah,
you're
I don't
leaving.
know. He doesn't have to leave.
Okay, so then, okay,
Motion to approve the road and general voucher.
Good questions.
Oh, yeah. Any discussion? Any question, any discussion?
Who is Battle Shield Limited?
That's for fire department parts and.
Okay, I've never seen it on here before, that's why I asked.
Because that's not the one that we picked that you would ask.
So if you got a recent bill, that was for the pump testing.
Was November 15th, November 21st. And number 24809. Alan Tennant, 900-320.
that would be his payroll. He did not give us the correct information when he started back. He changed banks, so it came back.
Alan Tennant.
He's our casual plow operator.
Oh, okay, great, thank you. Just wanted to know who he was.
Any other discussion? Motion to approve the road and general voucher.
Moved by Harold Levine, second by Maureen McMillan, motion to approve road and general voucher number 11-2022 in the amount of $425,099.52.
All those in favor? Don't think we have any silences. The committee reports, as I said earlier, we have 2 committee reports. Bill and Human Resource, you want to say anything about those, about that committee, Bill?
Oh, I wasn't prepared to do that.
Just briefly.
We've had 2 meetings of the Human Resources Committee so far. In our first meeting, we pretty much set out our work plan, and the first thing we have on our task is that we are reviewing the HR policies and procedures one by one, and we've set out a plan that should have that taken care of within the next couple of months. So we will be updating those as required or whatever. We've also had another meeting, but it was in camera, and I won't talk about that. Sorry for stumbling over that. I'm new.
It's okay. Carol?
And our last meeting was more of an orientation, and I'm going to a meeting with Dean on roads and waste management. And I'm going to be chatting with Tammy for some info on some stuff for our next meeting on the night.
Okay. So I have to read all the correspondence.
So you go through the correspondence.
No.
No, because we don't know about Redmond Township.
Okay, so just read them as you got them here. Okay, first one, Greenell, Lindop, Raglan Township. Letter of support opposing strong mayors, building home house. B, municipality of Marmora and Lake. Opposition to Bill 23, more homes built faster act. Town of Newmarket. Council's opposition to Bill 23, more homes built faster act. B, Ontario Sheep Farmers, livestock, guarding dogs and herding dogs bylaw requests. Good Rose Conference, request for municipal delegations. Township of McNabb Braeside, request for support, the elimination and reduction of taxes on fuel used for. G, suggestion to council to install 1 to 3 web cameras in the municipality.
Question,
That last one?
but the cameras.
Yep.
From Cold Harbor, Nova Scotia.
His mother lives on Meadow Street.
All day.
He was visiting.
All day. He wants it because it's regular safety, or
I think he put at the bottom, live shots of scenery and weather.
Ask him if he'd like to permit cameras and we put them up.
Okay. If there are no other discussions, we will file all of this. Files?
We just have to confirm that comes in through camera.
Then we received the letter in regards to the fish stocking around lake.
Yes.
I'll just lead off my comments first. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry is proposing a change to the management of fishing regulations in Zone 15, which affects our area. I live on the Banshee River, and even though I do not fish, I know how important fishing is to our local community and tourism. Some of the changes include changing the fishing season to eliminate winter fishing and decreasing daily limits. With council's consent, I would like to send a letter to the Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry outlining our township's concern about these changes. In addition, I would like to provide a link on our website to the actual plan for interested people to review. And I would like to provide a link on our website for people to use to send their comments and concerns to the minister. Our action now could make a difference in this proposal. Any other discussion?
you,
That's the one.
Roma. We're going to Roma in January.
Should meet with
Which
the
one's April?
Minister of
I
National
guess,
Resources.
what usually we can set up to meet.
Amo is in August, I believe.
There's Roma,
There's Roma next month.
just wondering the first one. But because of the transition, we were not able to see people in this delegation to visit the minister. Okay. But we're gonna be hanging around.
Yeah, when did we put the drug on it, when we went partners with M&R? 5 years ago?
Yeah, 2014, I think was the name.
And they're talking about Trump not doing well. Well, they wouldn't have been all fished out. They did really well when we, at the hatchery, raising in Bancroft and put them in the lake, and there was a great fishery there for a couple of years, Brad.
Yeah.
And they grew really well. I don't know why they're saying it won't support big trout.
I can speak on that. So the problem with it is it's not a self-producing lake, which the M&R keeps trying to say it is. And the letter that I had in the package there was I had called in to the M&R with my response. The other thing is, Dave, you're too late for response. The deadline was the end of November.
Oh, it's all right.
Yeah, it's already over. I did put in a comments on that to the M&R, but also above and beyond that, I talked to different people, the Round Lake property owners, have a person or two people involved in that. This Don Pouliot is very interested in it. There's different groups. So his letter is what we're not sending it to the Pembroke. He would like the council to support him on it and sign on it and send it to Peterborough District, which is the head office of Pembroke. Pembroke does not seem to do any, make any of those decisions. So this is a totally different. The zone 15 has really nothing to do with stocking Round Lake. As far as they're concerned, it's not it's a self-producing lake, so therefore we cannot stock it. And what we're asking for is that we can stock it the way it has been done in the past several times. And like Carol said, that when it was stocked, the fish did well, people came to the area, they supported local businesses, they bought licenses, they fished the trout, and they did fine. And when they were stocked, if they're not stocked, they do not reproduce. And its facts are in the letter there.
And can I speak on that again? They said they stocked pickerel there, And then we went to them, remember, Brian, about stocking pickerel, and said it wasn't a pickerel lake. And we'll just put the pickerel in there, but I'm reading this back in. They said they. And they put in 8,847 pickerel, including 200,000 eggs. And years ago, in 1982, from whatever it is. And there was lots of pickerel in there years ago, and they did well. And now they're saying it's not a pickerel lake, and they can't stock pickerel in there because it's not a pickerel lake. Well, it says right here that they did stock it with pickerel.
I don't know why the M&R continues to say it's a self-producing lake when there's absolutely no proof of it in the past, probably 100 years. You can go back and look at it. Even up till now, I asked the biologist in Pembroke when I spoke on the phone, and if they had any data from the trout that were stocked whatever, how many years ago that was, 2014, if they had any data on how many of those trout are reproducing, and they had none. They have zero. So I don't know where it's coming from that it's a self-producing lake. There's no proof to it whatsoever.
So did the previous council, did you guys issue a letter? Or did you
No,
just say the deadline was November 22nd?
yeah. We the previous council that came to council and unanimously decided that we would like to continue to stock Round Lake. And the process was to contact M&R, which I did, and they said that they were going through this rezoning or whatever for zone 15 management. And I asked how long this would take. They have no idea. They were just in the planning stages. At that point, I had less than a week to put in a comments, which I did. And then the deadline was the end of November.
Okay, so we just sit and wait now, other than supporting.
So beyond that is then this Don Pouliot came to me, and that's the letter I have put in the package. He would like council, if council decides that we want to try to stop Round Lake, we have to get permission, obviously, from the M&R. This is the letter that we want to send to the head office. We want to have it signed by council, by John Yakubuski, by the property owners group, Renfrew Power. And then send it in.
Because I do know there have been people that have phoned Yakubuski already.
Oh, and it's a major, anybody on Round Lake, I'm sure has, I know a lot of people that had sent comments in by the end of November on it.
Okay.
Personally themselves.
Do you want to get together with Tammy and issue the format of what you want to have done? And we'll follow that up.
Okay,
Okay, do you feel that letter is good enough, or you want to strengthen the letter?
yeah, that's the reason he sent the letter in tonight, to see if council wanted to add any more to it. I read it over and I think he's touched on basically all the points. I had given him 2 suggestions, he added them in, and I think that's the letter we need to send.
Just out of curiosity, do any of you three remember how much it cost to restart it? When we
That was
brought the-
before I came on, it was finishing when I came on to council,
What, the restocking there?
yeah.
Remember? it was
I know the M&R.
They backed the truck up
Yeah,
and they dropped everything off.
I know the M&R netted the fish out there and took the breeding stock from there and reproduced them in Bancroft at their hatchery. And then they were about that long when they brought them down. And the tanker truck came with, I don't know how many thousand. Oh,
They did it a few years ago.
yeah, we did it a couple times. And so they were saying that when they're taken from the original spawning trunk in Round Lake and hatched from their eggs and hatchery and brought back, they're supposed to reproduce.
That's why I asked the question of the M&R biologist, and they had no answers.
They don't.
Absolutely zero data on that, she said. Yeah. So in my mind, and then a lot of other ones, they are not reproducing.
And they
are lake. So you have to, if you want fish in the lake, you have to stock it.
Yeah.
And that's what we'd like to do.
They have no problem stocking the Great Lakes.
The other thing is, we have a lot of groups, ones I mentioned, and even other ones, to help both financially and physically, if we can get permission to do this stocking. We can't just throw fish in the lake, we have to get from the M&R, yeah.
I remember that then there was a lot of red tape to go through to get them dropped.
And it may not work, but it's, that's why we'd like to send it to head office to get some action, because it's.
Well, I think, council agrees, any support that we can provide, we want to provide it.
Okay, so as long as we have full council's support, then I think we should go ahead and send this letter. Or council sign the letter, and then he's gonna get other signatures on it, such as John and the Renfrew Power, and all these groups that are involved with Round Lake.
What do we do? Resolution.
To make some changes to it. And then have you sign it if council's okay with that. There's just some things to move around in here. So if I could do that, then if council wants to put a resolution on the floor to accept and for the mayor to sign on behalf and to send it, I can go ahead and make the changes, and then Mayor Mabel can sign it and we can send it to, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
So I'll have to write out a resolution because I didn't have one prepared.
Yeah, I think any type of backing we can provide, let's
That's,
put our full weight behind it, because that's.
that's the way we're looking at it, if we can get a bigger group of
Yeah.
people involved.
Right?
Makes me want to be out and about fishing on a warm
Go ahead.
August
It's
day.
still open. Don't take your boat. There you go.
Dean just showed me some pictures here. It looks like the M&R granted $15,000 for that project, the previous one. The county
What is it?
yeah. So, I don't know. But now, I'm sure it's like everything else, prices are different these days.
Letter. New business. While Tammy's doing that, I'm going to, I just want to make a comment in regards to the road conference. So the previous council had given permission for everyone, 5 guys to go. Well, let me rephrase that, 4. And then as the new council, we provided for Harold to be able to go. Just in comparison to last year, that conference for 5 people cost almost $15,000, so almost $3,000 a person. So I just want to make note of that, so that this is going to be, we'll include that in the budget process. Just want to make sure everyone understands that. So basically, it's about $3,000 per person for a conference when you go on these trips. So when we do the budget process, at least now we know that's the ballpark that we can use. Okay.
Is that the same cost as the annual and the conferences?
No, a lot has to do with the registration fee.
Roma and those, or-
A lot has to do with the registration fees, and they vary in price. So
what's the cost on the Roma one?
registration, I think, was $340 or something. And last year's registration for the roads was almost 800. You guys must get fed really well. I'll eat the eggs.
Some days.
But I just want to make note of that. I want to make note of that only because, just so you know, it's going to be put in the budget, so it's accounted for. Okay?
Okay, so I have a resolution prepared for the signing of the letter, so I'll go ahead and read that. So, oh, sorry, someone's gonna sign it. I got it prepared. Sorry.
There's 7 pens.
Just need one.
Okay, so moved by Maureen McMillan, second by Bill Smith. Motion that council supports and approves the mayor to sign a letter addressed to Mr. Jesse Van Allen, supervisor of MNRF, in relation to the Ontario Fishing Act Zone 7, or so Zone 15, Round Lake. All those in favor?
All those in favor? Carry.
Thank you.
So then the only other thing that I have for that is MMAH is providing a 2-hour session, training session for new compliance audit committee members and for clerks of municipalities. So if the new compliance audit committee wants to do this training session, there's two choices. Unfortunately, they're during the day. So we have two dates, Wednesday, January 18th, 2023, from 9:30 to 11:30, and Thursday, January the 19th, from 1:30 to 3:30. So if anybody wants to, we can sign them up through here, or I can send the links and you can do that. Or whatever.
Any discussion?
Do they have will they record the session so that?
They don't say here. I can ask that question.
If you could do that and then get back to me by email.
Okay.
Thank you.
You want people to come back and talk to you, yes, they'll be there, or yes, they'll be here?
Well, yeah, because there is a registration form, yeah. So just if they could verify it.
So whoever can, please get back to Ken. So
When is that, sorry?
Wednesday, January the 18th. From 9:30 to 11:30, or January the 19th from 1:30 to 3:30.
and they'll be held right here.
Oh,
yeah. On your space.
Alternate dates or twice or just?
We can go to either one.
Okay.
Locations right here in this room.
You wanna go?
Yeah. I've started to travel with this. What time is that? Sorry, I'm not.
January the 18th is from 9:30 to 11:30. That day?
Yeah, that's good.
You're a morning person?
I'm up at 5:30, that's why. My wife made me scrub down the bathroom, clean it off today, that's why I'm tired.
Okay.
Not just.
I'm glad you came here, you're
Now,
Now we're going to
the public, and that's on YouTube, but YouTube is free, so they won't be able to see, and then we will do that after the break, and then we will record again. And I think that.
we are going to take Christmas break now.
We'll